Welcome back. So we will now continue with the ASP.NET Server validation controls. Last time we stopped at the regular expression validators. So before we continue with our web application, I would like to introduce the regular expressions. Whenever we talk about regular expressions, we mean that we are checking a certain pattern. We are looking for a certain pattern of characters. And in order to understand the regular expressions, I would like to show you some of the terms that we use, some of the things that will help you in designing a regular expression. So we will start with the character classes. So these are the groups of characters that we have. So if you look at your keyboard, you will see that you have different characters starting with the alphabets, numbers, special characters. So these have terms, these have certain shortcuts that you can use in regular expressions. So for example, a /small w would match any word character that falls within the range A to Z. These are your lowercase letters and uppercase letters and underscore and digits between 0 and 9. The /W will match any non-word character, so these would be your special characters like the @ the ampersand, the percentage, the hashtag, and so on. The /s will match any white space character, so these would be the spaces, tabs, vertical tabs, etc. The /S will match any non-white space character, so these would be your all other characters except the spaces, of course, and the white spaces. So the D will match the decimal digits, so these are the digits between 0 and 9. /D will match any non-decimal digits, so this will be the other characters. You can always specify a certain range of characters. So for example, if you would like to check for capital letters, then you can enclose A and Z between square brackets. If you want, also you can check for a smaller range, like between A and E, so you can enclose these between square brackets. If you want the opposite or the negation for that, so you need to start with the caret sign. So this would mean that you are not, or you are checking for characters that does not fall within a certain range. Okay, so we have also what we call anchors. So these are special characters that identify either the start of or that identify where you would like to look for a certain pattern. So if you start with a caret, this means that whatever you are looking for must be at the beginning of your string. So for example, if we start with caret and then /D and 3, this means we are looking for a string that starts with digits, and in particular we are looking for 3 digits. So for example, this would match the 050 in this string. If you want to check for matches at the end of your string, then you would use the $sign. So for example, this would match the numbers 1, 2, 3 in the string 050-123. You can also check for quantities like quantifiers. So if you want to check if something exists 0 or more times, then you need to use the $sign. If something or a pattern exists 1 or more times, so at least 1 time this, then you need to use the +sign. If a certain pattern is optional or 0, or if this pattern exists 0 or 1 time, then you need to use the question mark. If you want to check if a certain pattern exists a certain number of times, then you need to enclose the number between brackets, between curly brackets. If you want to check if a certain pattern exists at least n times, so you need to enclose n followed by a comma between curly brackets. Or if you want to check if a certain pattern exists a certain number of times or between two values, or in other words, if it exists at least n times but not more than m times, then you need to enclose these two numbers between curly brackets. So this would be n comma m. Let me show you some examples so you understand what we are talking about. So in the first example, I'm checking for any number, like for example a PO box that contains 4 digits only. So I would do it like this, /d, and then enclose number 4 between the curly brackets. So this means I'm looking for /d. These would be digits, and 4 means I'm looking for 4 digits only. If I want to check, for example, for a phone number that starts with 050 or 056, and then a dash, and then another 6 digits, then I would do it this way. I would start with a caret, so this means I'm matching the beginning of the string, and then between the brackets you put the options. So I have two options now, either 050 or 056. Then you close the brackets, and then you are looking for the dash, so you have to write the dash and then other 6 digits. So this would be a D again, and you enclose 6 between curly brackets. For full names, for example, a full name can be of any size, but it can contain only alphabets. So we don't have names that contain numbers, for example. So you would be looking for A to Z, whether capital or small. The plus means that, if you remember, we are looking for one or more, and then the /s means a space. So after the space, then you will have the last name, for example. So the last name is also composed of characters, of alphabets only, so either capital or small, and again one or more. So this would be the /s, and then followed by A to Z or A to Z capital between the square brackets. The plus also means one or more of these characters. And finally, the $sign means that this is the end of your text. So a name like John Doe would match. Then, if you would like to check for passwords, passwords are a little bit complicated, so you can set rules for your password the way you want, as long as you understand the terms used. So if you notice here, let's start from the first character I added here to the regular expression and the last one. So we start with a caret and we end with a $sign. So this means that this is the beginning and the end of our password. For example, here I want to check if the password contains at least one special character, one number, one digit, one lowercase and one uppercase, and the total length of my password should be 6 characters only. So I would do it this way. I will start one by one. So to force the user to use at least one special character, remember special characters are the /W. So I will start with brackets and then question mark equal dot star. This means I am looking for a special character, then another bracket with a question mark equal dot and star followed by /d. It means I'm looking for at least one digit, and then a bracket question mark equal dot and star followed by A to Z small letter. So this means I'm looking for one lowercase, and then followed by bracket, question mark, equal dot, star, capital A to Z, so I'm looking for a capital letter. So this question mark equal dot followed by a star means the pattern that follows must exist in your password. So this way you force the user to enter this. And finally, we have the 6. So this means the total length of our password would be 6 characters. Emails also is another story. So we have lots of examples of emails, lots of examples of how to validate emails. Maybe the simplest one would be if we look at the given example. So you have email like abc.def@ab.ac.de, for example. So if we take each piece and try to find the pattern that matches this. So by now you already know that the caret and the dollar at the beginning and the end of our regular expression means that this is the beginning and the end of our text we are matching or we are validating. So the ABC means we are looking for any word character, so any letter. So this would be the /W. The plus sign means that I need at least one. So I need at least one of these characters. Then you have examples like abc.def or abc-def, or you can have even abc-def-hij. So this means that I would like to allow the user to use more than one dash. So that's why you see between the square brackets I have the dash and then followed by a plus sign. Remember, plus means one or more. And then, because I'm allowing the user to use a dot, then I enclose the dot between the square brackets. So this would be the first part of our email. Then after the dot I have also another set of characters. So this would be the /W plus. So the user can enter another set of characters after the dot. And all of these are enclosed between brackets and followed by a star sign. So this means, if you remember, the star means 0 or more. So we have examples of emails like abc@ab.ac. So the user must not enter all the time a dot or a dash. So that's why we make this optional. So 0 or more. Then we'll have the @ sign. So the @ is required. That's why you see the @ written as is. Then after the @ you also have many examples, like we have hotmail.com, we have yahoo.com, and we have also other examples like ab.ac.de. So in order to allow the user to enter this, then again we have to start with /W. So this would be the AB, for example. Because we have 2 characters, then we use the /W plus. Then we have a dot or a dash. So these are enclosed between square brackets. And these are also optional. So for example, if we have hotmail.com, then we have only one dot. Then followed by /dot. So this would be the dot sign. Then we have also after the dot, like if you have hotmail.com, so the com will be the /W plus, so it's any character, one or more. And then you always have, or you can have also .ac.de. So again, you need to allow a dot or a dash and then followed by a /W and all of these can be also optional. So this way we cover all the possible formats of emails. You can find lots of examples on the net for regular expressions, for emails, for passwords, for full names, for phone numbers, for PO boxes, anything, name it, you will find lots of examples on regular expression. Mainly what you need to understand are these basics, and these are only part of the character classes that we have and part of regular expressions. It's a huge topic and it takes lots of time to go through it. So I tried to summarize only the basics needed for the purpose of this video. Okay, so if you got the point, then let's continue with our example. And if you remember, we stopped here at this point where we added some validation for the first name, last name. We used the required field validator, we used the range validator, and we used the compare validator. So now in order to use regular expressions, we'll be using the regular expression validator. Okay, so we would like to validate now the username, we would like to validate the email, and we would like to validate the password. Okay, so let's start with the email. Again, we add the regular expression validator. As we explained previously, we need to change. Let me hide this so we have better view. So this would be our error message. So let's say email. This is for the email. Email is not valid, and you can of course give any detailed message for the email. Remember, we need to change the display property, and we need to change the control to validate. So now we are validating the email txt. And the last important thing would be our validation expression. So this means the validation expression is what pattern are we looking for, what is accepted and what is not. And to do this, I will simply copy the expression I talked about. So this one, Control C, and we'll go back here and then paste again. Okay, so let me explain this again. Okay, so as we said, the caret and the dollar means this is the beginning of our text and this is the end. So nothing is allowed before and nothing is allowed after. Okay, so we'll discuss the example abc.def at ab.ac.de, for example. So this one, the /w plus, means that we need at least one word character, so an alphabet, for example. And then you can either have dot or dash or couple of dashes, then another set of word characters, or not. So if the user enters, for example, abc at ab.ac.ae, then this would be not needed. So that's why we put all of this between brackets and then followed by a star. So remember, the star is 0 or more. So we can either have it or not. And then every email should contain the @ sign. So this is required. After the @ you can have also like hotmail.com, or you can have ab.ac.de. So if you have like hotmail.com, so hotmail would be this one, the /w plus, so one or more. And you can have also dot, so, or not. So this would be this one. So I can have a dash or a dot. and another set of characters, and the star means it's optional, so either we have it or not. Then there should be a dot, so like hotmail.com. This escape sequence for the dot, so this means we are matching now the dot. And then you have the /w again, so for example .com. So the .com, this is the dot, and the com would be these. So the /w followed by a plus, so it means I'm matching one or more word characters. Also you can have also .ac, .de or .ae. So if you want also to match more than one dot, then again we enclose this between brackets followed by a star, which means it's 0 or 1. You can have a dash or a dot, then followed by set of words. So this would be one way to validate emails. For the username, for example, we can say that we want only to allow the user to use or to enter alphabets, whether capital or small, and only numbers. So if we don't want to allow special characters, we want only to allow numbers and alphabets, so we need to do the following. We will start with changing the error message, so we will say only alphanumeric characters are allowed, so only alphabets and numbers. Okay, this means nothing unless we enter the validation expression. So our validation expression would be like this. We need only A to Z, so these are the lowercase alphabets. We want also to allow capital letters, so these are the A to Z, and we want the digits between 0 and 9. So this means I'm matching any of these. If you leave it like this, then you will match only one character. But of course, usernames are composed of more than one character. So either you use the curly brackets and say, for example, 8. This means that you want the user to enter exactly 8 characters. Or if you want the user to enter, for example, 4, so at least 4 characters. Or you can say 4 to 8, so at least 4 and at most 8 characters. Or if you don't want to specify, then you can say plus, so this means 1 or more. Although this is not recommended, so this means that the user can still enter one character only for a username. So I would say, let's put 6. So this means we want the user to enter, or we can say 4, so at least 4 characters, and we don't want to specify the maximum number of characters. So this way the user can only enter small letters, capital letters, and digits, 4 or more characters. Okay, so the password then would be this one. So if we go to the end, and then we add another regular expression validator. So here for your error message, let's say you can say password must contain at least one special character one small letter, one capital, and one digit. Length is 8, for example. Okay, so this is our error message. Again, the control to validate would be our password txt. The display method is dynamic, and now we come to our validation expression. So let me copy this example again for the password, and we'll go through it again together. Okay, so this is our validation expression. Okay, let me hide this and hide this. So this is our validation expression. Okay, again, so the caret and the dollar means the beginning and the end of the text. Okay, so this, the question mark, equal, dot, and star means that the user must enter. The slash W means any non-word character, so this would be for our special characters. And we need at least one digit, so this would be the question mark, equal, dot, star, and then a D, so this 4 digits, and a small letter, a capital letter, and the total length is 6. So that's it. So now I believe we have all the validation needed for such a registration form. Okay, let's run and test. Okay, so it seems we missed one validation, which is validation regular expression validator 2. So let's see, what did we miss? This is the regular expression validator 3, and this one. So this is our regular expression validator 2. Oh, yeah, we forgot here to specify what is the control we are validating. So, okay, good. So if you remember, we need to, okay, let's select this. So this is our regular expression validator 2, and remember we are now validating the username txt, so we forgot to set this. So here username txt. Okay, we should have it now. Control F5. Alright, so this is our first name. If you remember the first name, we said only it's required, so I will write my name now. The last name, so enter my age, I'm 19. Okay, so this is our email. Okay, let me show you the different alternatives we have here. So we can have something like imad.rahman at ab.ac.ae. So this is valid. Or we can have imad at ab.ac.ae. This is also valid. Or we can have imad-rahman. So this also should be valid. Or we can have imad at ab.ae. So this is also valid. Or we can have ab.com. So this is also valid. We can have hotmail.com. also this is valid. So as you can see, we mainly matched all the possible patterns that you can think of. Okay, for the what's now for the username, we said the username should contain only, what did we say for the username? We said for the username we are only allowing alphanumeric characters 4 and above, so we need to enter at least 4 of these. So let's try to enter something. So for the username I would say Imad. This should not be valid. So this should not be valid because I have only 3. So Imad would be valid because it's 4, at least 4. So if we try to enter Emad D, then this also should not be valid because I'm using a special character here. So we're fine. As to the password, we said that our password must contain a special character, must contain a digit, a small letter, a capital letter, and the total length should be 6. So let's enter a password. I will enter a capital letter, a special character, a small letter. So now we have 3 and then other 3 characters. So this is valid. Okay, let me try to enter only letters. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So it will tell me now that my password is not valid. So I believe now we have, okay, now, and then, okay, so as you can see now our registration form passed the validation. So this means that all the entered values are valid. So now I believe you can go ahead and play around with these validation expressions, try to add more controls, then try to check against different patterns using the concepts we discussed in this video. Okay, I will be seeing you soon.